That was a little Bon Jovi here on Chuckles Crypt, Rhode and that was a shocker. Everyone around the table is like, what's happened here? Are we going back to the 80s? Why not? Bon Jovi was an awesome artist until he went another route. Let's just keep it that way. He took his hard rock style and he went soft rock style, and I didn't appreciate that. We're talking about gunslingers and westerns and everything, and if you missed the last show, you can catch it up on Rhode and you can catch what we were talking about last time. We're going to talk a little about new western horror. It is a thing, and you told me this, and there's old west horror, which, you know, you're more attentive with the 70s and 80s than I am. It's hard to believe that that's considered old west now, but it's over 20 years, so it's Old West horror.
So if that's Old West horror, then what's the 50s and 60s and 40s?
That's Golden Age Western horror.
Fossil Western.
Yep. Now we're going to talk about 5 of my favorite that I remember watching, because there is a lot of them out there, but these are 5 that I remember in depth and to the point where they're part of my collection. The Borrowers. Really, really disturbing, good Western show. Movie I don't want to ruin too much for you because there's a lot of stuff inside there that's just gonna mess with your head. But it's a really good horror flick and a really good Western in one. This one was shocking. Gallows Walker. When Nurse Misery and I first saw this and we saw the fact that Wesley Snipes was the lead actor in it, we were a little turned off from it. After watching it, however, really cool story. It's kind of like a vampire zombie hybrid. And he goes around plunking these things, and really, really cool. The Quick and the Dead, I don't need to say too much about that. It's a zombie Western. I mean, zombies getting shot by Old West timers. Yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. Dead in Tombstone. This one had Danny Trejo and Mickey Rourke in it. What a combination. Mickey plays the devil, and Danny Trejo...
That's an example of typecasting.
Right? Danny Trejo plays a character that's he's a Mexican gunslinger, typecasting again, where he's done so much bad that when he's killed, he's sent down to hell, and Danny is used as the devil's tool to collect some of these gunslingers that Mickey Rourke wants to add to his collection. And some of them did that too. Really cool story. I recommend purchasing that. I almost purchased it the other day and said I don't remember watching this because I didn't remember the name of the movie. And I was reminded by Nurse Misery I did watch it. Medications work well in the insane asylum. The last one is kind of Legend of Phantom Rider. It's kind of a precursor to, how do I say this? DC's version. The gentleman there that was a gunslinger in DC. Jonah Hex. It's kind of like a precursor to that. This is like kind of their spin-off of their Jonah Hex character. That's pretty cool. I enjoyed it. Not bad. Now, you have watched some that are in the 80s and 70s. What are some of the ones that you can recommend to the listeners right now that you enjoyed?
Well, mostly, like I said, the Clint Eastwood ones from the 80s, 70s, and 80s, like that I mentioned on the last show. Pale Rider, The Beguiled, which is sort of a Civil War Gothic thing, but it's still set back in those days, so it counts. And High Plains Drifter, which is probably the best of the 3 as far as entertaining.
I got to check those out when we go home. We're going to have a Western movie night with some barbecue and some sauce there and some whiskey, if they allow it in the insane asylum, and we will watch some.
You better be on some really good behavior to earn that whiskey.
Well, I'm not getting that whiskey because that's never happening.
You can have the cheap stuff in the plastic bottle.
Now, Nurse Misery, do you remember any of these movies we watched? Probably not.
No, I am sitting here as you're talking saying, I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
Of course you wouldn't. You killed.
I remember the Danny Trejo one with Mickey Rourke a little bit. I'm like, I think I remember pieces of that.
Of course, because you killed so many brain cells drinking half a bottle of freaking rum that you're not going to remember anything past that day.
Leave me and my moonshine cherries alone.
Yeah, clown noses. There's freaking.
Well, I don't know. When it comes to movies, is it better to have a really good memory? Like the movies I watch, like I remember, like they happened to me.
Yeah.
There's an advantage to be said though for people that don't remember they saw a movie because then they can enjoy it twice.
Or that they didn't
for the first time.
They didn't enjoy it and they just blanked it out. I mean, that happened to me with Jaws 4. Like such a horrible movie. I didn't know that it was ever made until someone gave it to me as a gift, and then I remembered why I blanked that movie out because it was horrible.
Well, yes, that's a gift of nature.
Regifting.
Yeah, that's a gift of nature.
By the way, someone might be getting Jaws 4 as a gift around this table here.
But it's part of a set. You're going to have to, like, pluck just the DVD out and throw it like a Frisbee at him.
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's a horrible, horrible movie.
Jaws 4 to the face?
Yeah, why not?
I'll tell you, while I think of it, because it occurs to me, we're talking about gunslingers. We're talking about Western movies. I can tell you what one of the most awful, and I haven't seen Jaws 4 yet, but just while else being equal, one of the most awful movies ever made on the face of this earth is a gunslinger movie.
Cowboy versus Aliens.
No. Let me add that it stars Elvis Presley.
Really?
Oh, no.
Okay. Keep going.
Elvis Presley was a big fan of Clint Eastwood. Elvis Presley decided that he was going to make his own gunslinger with a beard movie after he saw a Fistful of Dollars, and he proceeded to do so. It's called Charro, Charro, and it was made, I think, late 60s, 70 maybe, 69, 70 in there. Yeah, and Elvis grew a beard, but it's only like a 3-day beard, so you can still see the sideburns.
Oh, jeez. So the sideburns are thicker than everything else?
Yes.
So how I look Monday through Friday.
Right. Yeah. So, and then it goes down from there. Yeah, he rides on screen with the sideburns and the 3-day beard, and it's downhill from there. Truly one of the worst. And by the way, Elvis did make a couple of good movies when he was young. Like Jailhouse Rock is a good movie. I'm not saying he didn't make any good movies. But, yeah, his imitation Clint Eastwood Western, one of the worst movies ever put on film. I defy anyone to watch it from beginning to end. I really do.
I will take your word for it. When someone tells me it's a bad movie, especially someone like yourself, we're credible, not like Deadly Dan, I listen normally.
Put it this way. If you want to punish somebody in the asylum, just strap them to the chair.
Shanky.
And let Charro roll.
You know what's punishing us in this studio right now is I can smell the director's flagellants coming over here. So I believe we need to go to a music break so that he can go to the potty.
And you can get an air break.
And I could get an air break. So I think we got to go down to some music now. And I really hate to follow this up with this man, but we'll go down to some Alice Cooper's Laces and Whiskey here on Chuckles Crypt, Rhode
Circles, lost and half insane, and I need a cure sometimes to knock out the pain. So I yell out for some kind of angel to come down and rescue me. Be as soft as you can, put a drink in my hand. I'm as scared as I ever could be. Give me ice and whiskey, now it's a remedy. Things I really want, lots of things I really need. It's an animal soul inside, I gotta feed. I hide mama, family, my buddy, almost gets a rise from me. She's so soft in my hands, I give her all she can stand. Make a full-fledged man out of me. Give me ice and whiskey, mama's a remedy. Double deadly. and whiskey. Lace and whiskey.
I'm going to need some of that whiskey if this man keeps crapping himself throughout the day, because we're going to need it to dumb my senses down so I don't smell that flagellance. That even chased you out of the room, George. We ran out of here.
I
I
evacuated.
survived.
I don't know how you did that. I don't know. We're talking all things Westerns, and yes, someone probably would have crapped their pants before getting on the streets with some of these gunslingers that I'm about to bring up. And I'm going to try to give you as brief information as I can about them, because you literally can fill a whole, 6 months with one gunslinger each time, because there is actually that much importance amongst them. And yes, I paused for a minute there because our lovely Nurse Misery is being a jackwagon, eating in the studio, unwrapping stuff while we're on radio.
But I found a chocolate bar in my purse and got really excited.
Yeah, jackwagon. So let's talk about 6-shooters. And when I say that, a lot of names come up. But for the top 3 favorite of mine, because like I said, I don't care about those stupid lists anymore or what you think. These are my favorite Westerns. And I've read countless books. And yes, there are a lot of comic books on these characters. You have to go back to the Golden Ages. They're even starting to reinvent some newer ones for these guys. So it's starting to slowly come back.
Now, is this list that you're going to give us, is this ones that really lived? Is
Oh,
it
yeah.
fictional ones?
No,
or
they're-
are we talking half and half?
No, they're full-time. They lived in the flesh. They were all the way, and the books may have taken some rights and stuff and changed them around, but they were real people. And I'm going to start on the bottom because he's probably one of the most well-known gunslingers, and we talked about him a little bit on the last show, and they treat him like a modern-day Robin Hood, and that is Jesse James. Let me rain on your parade a bit for this. Now, if you are thinking that this man was a saint that gave back to the poor, you are out of your flippin' gourd. Because even before this man became a, what you would say, a bank robber, a gangster, a gunslinger, he was a horrible, bloodthirsty rebel. And I'm saying like Quanji's Raiders type style. He was the epitome of nastiness. This man took great pride in ambushing the Union soldiers and butchering each and every one of them in horrible manners. So he had a sense, he had an anger towards the Union Army to the point where he denounced his citizenship even after the American Civil War was